Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be sacked if Manchester United fail to beat Leicester? Now we'll be going into the game against Leicester having only won 2 of our last 6 games in all competitions. We are winless in our last 2 league games. Before the international break, Manchester United drew 1-1 with Everton at Old Trafford. Like updated you earlier on today, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics were slammed by Danny Blind. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is struggling to handle a massive squad. And we've got a very, very good squad, but they're playing as individuals, they're not playing as a team, like Gary Neville mentioned not so long ago. We've got the best player in the world in Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm expecting Ronaldo to play against Leicester next week. Ronaldo didn't start against Everton before the international break, and Ronaldo was annoyed with Solskjaer. After Man United's 1-1 draw with Everton, he stormed down the tunnel, and Solskjaer got criticised for not starting Ronaldo against Everton, but Solskjaer came out and said that he had no regrets over not starting Ronaldo. Ronaldo did come on in the game against Everton. Don't forget, Ronaldo got named Premier League Player of the Month for September. So too did Mikel Arteta. He got named Manager of the Month, I think. Ronaldo has scored 3 goals in the Premier League so far since he re-signed for Man United, and he scored 5 goals in all competitions. So he's done well since he's come back. The other week it said Ronaldo wants to retire at Man United. Then coach Cristiano Jr. in the Red Devils youth team. Prior to the Aston Villa game, Solskjaer said he believes that Cristiano Ronaldo can keep playing for Man United into his 40s. He's 36 at the moment. And Ronaldo's already hinted that he's looking to stay at Man United beyond his current contract. Ronaldo's under contract with Man United till 2023. There's an option of a further year. Ronaldo receives £480,000 a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United. Ronaldo wears the number 7 shirt, and we got Ronaldo for 19.8 million with add-ons included. Ronaldo is the greatest player of all time, like I've already mentioned. He's won 32 major trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. By the way, Ronaldo recently scored his 112th international goal for Portugal. Ronaldo did very well in his first spell at Man United. He scored 118 goals in 292 games in all competitions, and he won 3 Premier League titles, the Champions League, the FA Cup, 2 League Cups and the FIFA Club World Cup, and in Ronaldo's first spell he endured 6 years. It'll be interesting to see now how Solskjaer's going to get the best out of Ronaldo. We've obviously got Mason Greenwood. That's very, very good. I think he's been an absolute revelation since he broke into our senior squad, despite him going a long period without scoring a goal at one point. Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and last season Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. So far this season, Greenwood has scored 3 goals in the league. You can play Greenwood up top, you can play him on the right. I think you can also play him on the left, but you seem to get the best out of Greenwood on that right wing. Marcus Rashford, he's also good, but he has endured his bad periods at Man United. The good news is, from Man United perspective, that Marcus Rashford is now back, like I updated you not so long ago. Rashford was out with a shoulder injury for a while, and he had to have an operation on his shoulder. Don't forget, Rashford scored twice in that behind closed doors friendly game against Blackburn. But we'll look much better now that Rashford is back. But the question is, will Rashford get in the team? Like I've said to you before, Rashford is more effective on the left hand side than he is on the right and up top. Rashford's been a United player since the age of 7 and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. Rashford is under contract with Man United until 2023. You've got Edison Cavani. That's also good. He has lost his place in the team with us re-signing Ronaldo. Cavani surprisingly played against Everton before the international break. And he had a very good chance from a downward header. It produced a good save from Jordan Pickford. I can't say I want Cavani to leave because he's made an impact since he's come in. Cavani's got under a year left on his contract. It was back in May he signed that 1 year contract extension. Cavani receives over £200,000 a week. I think Cavani will leave next year though. He'll leave in January or at the end of the season. It said the other week that Real Madrid want Cavani on loan in January. And I think Barcelona will reignite their interest. Because Barcelona tried to get Cavani on deadline day in the summer transfer window, but Fabrizio Romano poured cold water on the speculation and he said Cavani wouldn't believe in Man United. He'd be staying at Man United. Cavani's got a good pedigree behind him, look at the amount of trophies he won when he was at PSG, and not only that, he was a long-serving player when he was at PSG. You've got Jadon Sancho, that's a good player, but he hasn't enjoyed a good start to his Man United career. But like I've said to you before, it does take some players time to settle in. And I'll revert back to what I said before. Sancho will do well at Man United, providing that Solskjaer uses him correctly. I think so far, Solskjaer is failing Sancho at Man United because he's been playing him out of position. He puts him on that left-hand side. Yeah, he can play on the left wing, but his predominant position is the right wing, and he's much more effective on the right than he is on the left. You can also play Sancho centrally. Earlier on this season, Borussia Dortmund did warn Man United about the Jadon Sancho problem. And Borussia Dortmund's CEO came out and said that Jadon Sancho's lack of game time at Man United is hurting my soul. We got Sancho in a deal worth 78 million with add-ons included, and he's under contract with Man United until June 2026. There's an option of a further year. You've got Bruno Fernandes. That's obviously very, very good. In a lot of games at Man United, he's been very consistent, but there's been quite a few games now where he's looked off the pace. More or less, though, Bruno Fernandes starts every game. He is one of our best players and he's one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. It said earlier on this season that Bruno Fernandes was close to signing a new 5-year contract with Man United worth £250,000 a week, with the signing of Ronaldo. At the moment, Fernandes is under contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. Bruno Fernandes wants to stay at Manchester United. He's already made that clear. Fernandes last season won Player of the Year and he's won Player of the Month quite a few times. We got Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020 and Fernandes has been at Man United now for almost 2 years. You've got Donny van de Beek. That's also very good, but like I've said before, I haven't really had much of a perception on him at Manchester United. Because he doesn't get enough game time, and like I've said before, Solskjaer needs to start Donny van de Beek, especially in the Premier League. I think he'll be leaving next year. Calcio Mercato have said that Juventus want Donny van de Beek. Barcelona also want him. Newcastle are also in for him. There's 4 players that Newcastle want from us. Everton remain interested in Van der Beek. That's what it said from Sky Sports not so long ago. Don't forget, Everton were close to signing Donny van der Beek on loan in the summer transfer window, but Solskjaer rejected Donny van der Beek's exit. Fabrizio Romano did say, didn't he, that Donny van der Beek is planning to leave the club in January. Donny van der Beek's agent is said to be working hard on finding a new club for his client. Not so long ago, Van der Beek was furious with Solskjaer as he was left on the bench in Man United's win over Villarreal. Van der Beek was spotted throwing chewing gum in the dugout. Van der Beek will try to force a January transfer away from Man United following his Villarreal meltdown. Earlier on this season, Van der Beek told Solskjaer his best position. He reckons he'd be best served operating as a number 6 or as a number 8. And don't forget, earlier on this season, Van der Beek spoke about his Man United future in an exclusive interview with Rio Ferdinand. This season is Van der Beek's second full season at Man United. Got him in a deal worth 40 million with add-ons included. Got a contract with Man United till 2025. He's versatile, he can play in 3 different roles. You've got Paul Pogba, that's also very good. Paul Pogba's enjoyed a very good start to the Premier League season. Paul Pogba has already got 7 assists. Towards the end of last season, Pogba produced good performances for Man United, but at one point last season he was out with a thigh injury for a while and he sustained a couple of ankle injuries at Man United. So I hope he stays. Like I updated you earlier on today, Paul Pogba must take a big pay cut if he wants to join Juventus in the summer. Italian outlet La Gazzetta dello Sport have said that Juventus are preparing to offer 10 million in yearly wages to sign Paul Pogba from Manchester United. Now, like I updated you not so long ago, Paul Pogba refuses to rule out a Juventus return after France beat Belgium, and Paul Pogba did admit he always speaks to his ex-Juventus teammates. Earlier on this season, Paul Pogba's agent Mino Raiola suggested that Pogba could return to Juventus from Man United on a free next summer, because Mino Raiola did mention that Turin is still in Paul Pogba's heart. Well, Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with them before he rejoined Man United. Last week it said Paul Pogba wants to stay at Manchester United and he wants to sign a new £400,000 a week contract, which would make him one of the best paid players at the club. Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Before the start of this season, Paul Pogba rejected a new Man United contract. Earlier on this season, it said Pogba is very likely to leave Man United on a free next summer. Not so long ago, Man United set the Paul Pogba deadline. It said we wanted Paul Pogba's future to be sorted by Christmas. He's had a long-running transfer saga though. Real Madrid have been relentlessly linked with Pogba. PSG want him. Don't forget, PSG are prepared to offer Pogba £510,000 a week in wages to prize him away from Man United. Barcelona obviously have been in for Pogba, and Inter Milan have been in for him before. This season is Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he rejoined. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far. Pogba's our most expensive sign at the moment because we paid 89 million for him. We had him when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but had to let him go due to limited appearances. You've got Luke Shaw. That's a very, very good left back. He hasn't been brilliant so far this season, Luke Shaw. He was far superior last season to how he has been so far this season. Don't forget, Luke Shaw, not so long ago, come back from minor injury and illness. Luke Shaw has had a good career at Man United despite, the injuries he's had. Luke Shaw's been at Man United for like 7.5 years, so he's been a long-serving player at the club, and he has been our first choice left back for a while. And he still remains our first choice left back despite the arrival of Alex Telles. And Wan-Bissaka, he's a good right back. There is aspects of his game that I've got to improve, like I've mentioned before, but despite that, I still reckon he's one of the best right backs we've had since Gary Neville. Defensively, he's always been superb. He's got to improve his attacking side of the game. This season is Bissaka's third full season at Man United. We got Bissaka in a deal worth 50 million from Crystal Palace back in the summer of 2019. You've got Harry Maguire. That's decent. He's had his good games at Man United. He's had his bad games. Hasn't been great so far this season. We know that Maguire is out with injury for a few weeks. Maguire had ligament damage in his ankle towards the end of last season. Now, like updated you earlier on today, Man United are set to offer Harry Maguire a new 5-year contract worth £300,000 a week. We're going to reward Harry Maguire because he's established himself as an important player under Solskjaer. At the moment, Maguire earns £189,000 a week, and he's under contract with Man United till 2025. Don't forget, we paid 80 million for him, so he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. Maguire has made 78 appearances in the Premier League for Man United. Raphael Varane, he's also a good centre-half. In his last 2 games though for Man United, he has looked off the pace, but in the other games he's played, I think he's done well. Got some bad news, by the way. I think Varane has sustained an injury whilst on international duty. I don't know how severe the injury is. Haven't really looked into it. But anyway, we got Varane in a deal worth 41 million with add-ons included. Man United paid like 34 million up front. Varane is under contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. Varane to Man United was official just before kick-off against Leeds, which was the opening day. Varane is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world. He's highly experienced. He's got a fantastic pedigree as a player. He won a lot of trophies when he was at Real Madrid. Not only that, he was a long-serving player when he was at Real Madrid. He endured like 10 years with them. Eric Bailly, he's a decent centre-half. Could be going next year. I don't want him to, though. Bailly will find it hard to get in the team, obviously, with the arrival of Varane in the summer transfer window. My only element of concern about Eric Bailly is injury prone, so in that aspect he's a liability. Towards the end of last season, Bailly signed a new contract with Man United till 2024. There's an option of a further year. We got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016. We paid 30 million for him. So he's been with us now for 5.5 years. You've got David De Gea, good goalkeeper. He's done really well so far this season. Solskjaer's hailed De Gea as the best goalkeeper in the world. Don't forget De Gea reclaimed the number 1 spot back. We know De Gea is staying at Man United for at least this season because in the summer he said De Gea decided to cut short his holiday by 2 weeks to fight for the starting place. And he said De Gea is determined to fight for his Man United future. You know, this season is De Gea's 11th season at Man United. He's been a long serving. He's been with us since the Ferguson era. He has made mistakes in the last couple of years, but he's obviously made up for them mistakes so far this season. De Gea's won everything domestically at the football club, and he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. He's got like under 2 years left on his contract, and he receives 375 £375,000 a week. Dean Henderson, I also think he's a good goalkeeper as well. He's only been in goal for one game so far this season. That was West Ham in the Cup, and he did well. Henderson did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season. He made good saves and his distribution were good. Before the start of last season, Henderson signed a 6-year contract with Man United. So reflecting on that, he committed his future to the club. Henderson's also got that experience behind him. He enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield, and he's also had other loan spells before. So there you go. We've got a very, very good squad. There's also some players that aren't good enough to represent the club. You know, Martial isn't good enough. Martial's leaving next year. Newcastle want Anthony Martial. Newcastle recently made formal contact with Martial's representatives. Newcastle are obviously planning to spend big after the Saudi Arabians taken over. Man United will demand close to the 54 million they originally paid for Martial back in 2015. There's been quite a few other clubs in for Martial. You've obviously got Lingard, that's not good enough. I'm expecting him to leave next year. Fred's not good enough. I want him to leave next year. Whether he does or not, I do not know. I've got my strong reservations about Fred. You know, we overpaid for him. You know, we got him for 50 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. I thought he was superb when he was in Ukraine. Fred is not available for the trip to Leicester next weekend. So reflecting on that, Donny van der Beek has to start. Or Cavani's not available either, I heard. Matic isn't good enough either, but he's had his good games at Man United. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he does get his chances sometimes. McTominay, a lot of United fans don't think he's good enough either. Dalot's not good enough. Jones isn't good enough, but Jones doesn't get in the team anyway. I don't think Lindelof's good enough either. So there you go. And there's just a few players that don't get enough game time. You know, Tellez doesn't get in the team enough. Mata doesn't get in the team. Cavani doesn't really play a lot now. Dalot doesn't really get in the team. You know, Lindelof and Baye will struggle to get in the team, obviously with the signing of Varane. Lindelof's playing for the time being, obviously, because Harry Maguire is out for a few weeks. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I've been talking with you a lot about him recently. Yes, he is under pressure. But Man United are still fully committed to Solskjaer and have no plans to replace the club legend as manager despite a topsy-turvy start to the season. Solskjaer received very good backing in the summer transfer window. You know, John Murtough backed him. John Murtough recently said we need to keep control and not deviate from the plan. John Murtough is our director of football, and we certainly made the right decision getting a director of football in, because I did mention that's one of the structural changes we needed at the club. Ed Woodward's also backed Solskjaer. But Woodward said a while ago, didn't he, you know, that he'd back Solskjaer, and he assured that Solskjaer's job was safe, even when we was enduring them bad periods. Woodward's leaving Man United. It got announced he was leaving back in April when that European Super League came into the equation. Woodward's had a 16-year association with the club. Darren Fletcher backed Solskjaer in the summer transfer window. And we certainly made the right decision recommending him back in, Darren Fletcher, because he knows the club through thick and thin. He endured 2 decades as a player for Man United. And the Glazers backed Solskjaer, but only through persuasion. Because obviously towards the end of last season, the Glazers were planning to scrap the Champions League for that European Super League, and reflecting on that, there was United fans protesting against the Glazers. But Solskjaer revealed that the Glazers apologised. Don't forget, he said not so long ago that the Glazers were selling 8% of Manchester United, and the shares that are worth 137 million. The Glazers have been at Man United for 16 years. They purchased the club for 500 million back in 2005. And Man United did enjoy a very good summer transfer window. Ollie got the players he wanted. You know, he got obviously Tom Eaton on a free. It was a bit pointless bringing him in, but obviously we just brought him in as a backup. You can say he was the replacement for Sergio Romero. You know, brought Sancho in, brought Varane in, and re-signed Cristiano Ronaldo after 12 years. We spent around 141 million in the summer transfer window. Solskjaer's enjoyed like 5 transfer windows now as permanent Man United manager. But like I've said to you before, the vast majority of Manchester United fans are Ollie out. Maybe there's still some Man United fans that are Ollie in. It said from the Daily Mail not so long ago that Solskjaer's future as manager could depend on the next 10 games. You know, we've got tough games coming up. I've said to you already, Solskjaer needs to win a trophy at Man United, I'd say this season, to save his job. He's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager, and we haven't won anything since 2017. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. And we know Solskjaer's ambition for this season, that's to win the Premier League. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. Obviously, I'm very sceptical we'll win a title under Ollie. I'll win anything under Ollie, should I say. But we should be winning the league this season. Revert back to what I said on my other videos. We have got a title-winning squad. Our squad must be worth around 805 million. And even earlier on this season, Solskjaer told his Man United squad that it's better than the 1999 treble-winning team that Ollie was part of. But I did say at the start of this season that this season was going to be massive for Solskjaer because he's got big expectations to exceed. You know, this season is Solskjaer's 3rd full season as Man United manager. But we've got a lot of trust in Solskjaer. Obviously, he got given a new contract until 2024 in the summer. There's an option of a further year. And like I mentioned, we made a mistake giving him that new contract because I can assure he won't see it out. Solskjaer's been in charge of Man United now for almost 3 years. You know, he's managed over 150 games as Man United manager in all competitions. He's managed over 100 games in the Premier League as Man United manager. But I am surprised that Solskjaer's still Man United manager, because there's been quite a lot of times where he's been close to getting sacked. But I think with him being a legend of the club, that's what saved his job. Really, I'm deadly serious. I told you, you know, there's a lot of United fans that have got strong reservations about Solskjaer's decision making. Analysing the vast majority of the games he's managed at Man United, he's been tactically naive. And another one of my big concerns about Ollie is that he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. But, you know, if we do decide to eventually sack Solskjaer, you know, who's going to come in to replace him? You know, you've got United fans that want Antonio Conte to replace Ollie. You know, you've got some United fans that want Zidane to replace Ollie. You know, if Solskjaer does get sacked, he will be the 4th permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson. Because since Ferguson, we've sacked Moyes, Van Gaal and Mourinho. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. If you Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe. It's Red Devil 24, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.